My prayer and my hope as far as you are concerned is that you're going to be the person who not only breaks the cycle of financial poverty in your family and your community, but also goes above and beyond and becomes the person who's going to break the cycle of mental poverty by simply and intentionally setting the stage for the next generation coming after them. Number one. Number two, establishing new standards by which these people are going to be living. Last but not least, creating now a system that's now going to guide them to this standard are simply the baseline as far as life is concerned. And from that point, my friend, sky is going to become the limit. You are. In this video, I'm going to share with you why you need to start thinking of financial freedom as an opportunity for you to set the stage for the next generation, as opposed to just focusing on your own needs and focusing on your own toys that you want to buy as far as you are concerned. All right? This is something that you don't want to miss. Dimitri, let's get right into it. Yesterday when I was talking about the late Dikembe Mutombo, I reminded you that financial freedom is a concept that needs to be understood, not just in terms of reaching a place, reaching a point where you start making a lot of money and you start living life on your own terms. So you can now start dictating how you're going to be spending your time on a daily basis, when you're going to get up, when you're going to go to bed, where you're going to go, and whatever you're going to do. I try my very best to expand the frontier as far as your mind is concerned, to let you know that yes, financial freedom is a place that you have to aspire to, but not just for yourself, but also for the people around you and for the generation coming after you, because your job is to set the stage so that people can come and now sit and stand on your shoulders. So you can start looking at life from a very different perspective and different angle as opposed to starting from the very bottom. And this is very key. Today, I would like just to go a bit deeper as far as this concept is concerned. First of all, let me just talk about myself. If you did not know, I was born and raised in Africa. And when I was born, something really peculiar happened. I started noticing right away that, oh my goodness, look at the standard of living as far as our life is concerned. Look at what my dad drives. Look at where we live. Look at what he owns. My goodness, we lack for nothing as far as life is concerned, because my dad had done his very best to provide for his family. But when I started listening now to the stories of where he came from, then I realized that, my goodness, it was definitely someone went out of his way to set the stage for us so we could come and now stand on his shoulders. But where we're starting from is not where he's starting from. As a matter of fact, when he started telling us the stories of how he used to go to school barefoot, come home, do his chores, and by the time he was done doing his chores, it'll be almost too late because it'll be dark in the house. So what they have to do, he and a few friends of his, they will have to go to the main streets where there'll be some light, and they will bring the books and be standing there under the light just to study for a few hours before going to bed. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so crazy. Look at me. I was born and raised in a place where this was not my reality. I was born and raised in an environment where we had someone cooking for us and looking after us. I was born in a completely different environment. When it comes to even shoes, we have plenty of shoes to choose from when it comes to going to school. But look at where he was coming from. He was coming from a place where he didn't have access to shoes. It was coming from a place where after a certain hour, they had to go to the main road to study under the light, because back home, there was no light and no money to provide for any type of accommodation where they could actually be able to study at home. I was like, oh wow, this is so amazing. But now, let's now fast forward to 2024. Here I am now in Canada. So the place where I live, the things that my daughters are used to are not what I was used to when I was living and growing up in Africa. Why? Because I've come to a certain place and I've also raised the standard of living as far as my family is concerned. What they are used to now is not what I was used to back in the day. As a matter of fact, when I started telling them about some of the things I was going through back in the days, they simply say, oh my goodness, this is crazy, because they can relate. And this is how life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be not just reaching financial freedom so you can start buying things you can enjoy for yourself, so you can actually start living life on your own terms, but you're supposed to be doing all of that plus setting the stage for the next generation to come and start experiencing life a bit differently, start from a certain level as opposed to the bottom. And this is very key. Let me tell you exactly now why this is so important. When you set the stage for the people around you to come and stand on your shoulders or sit on your shoulders, their vantage point will be different than someone standing at the very bottom, at the foot of the mountain, because you are standing at a different level. That's number one. But as you're standing the stage for them, what is happening is you are creating standards. These standards are now the line that you're setting now. You're setting now in the sand. You are setting now around them to see if it says you cannot go beneath this. This is now the line that you have to consider as the benchmark as far as life is concerned. Anything beneath this is not for you. You have to consider only things at this level or above. That's now a standard. And as they start living according to the standards, what's going to happen is from time to time they may deviate and try to go see what's happening on the foot of the mountain. But somehow there will be a process, a mechanism in the mind, in the body that will be simply called homeostasis. The body will simply say, no, this is not what we are used to. We have to simply regulate the mind. We have to regulate the body so we can go back at a particular level, which is our benchmark. Because anything that doesn't look like this, that doesn't sound like this, is not your level. You have to simply consider this level or something higher. And this now becomes a process of homeostasis. Now becomes the norm for the generation coming after them to simply see that, yes, as far as this family is concerned, this is now the benchmark. As far as this community is concerned, this is now the benchmark. Anything that doesn't look, that doesn't sound like this is not something that we should be considering. And this is now slowly but surely, you are now going to build a culture that's going to eventually solidify into something that simply we call system. And this system of standards are basically going to be now the one key thing that's going to determine how successful or not your children or their children and the community around you are going to be as far as life is concerned. Because you know what, at the end of the day, as James Clear said it so beautifully in his book, the people are going to fail to the type of system they will have created around them. If the system of standard is actually low, basically they're going to fail. But if the system of standard is actually high, then they're going to be basically held to a higher standard that's going to cause them to find a way to get back to the top. Let me just end with this particular just statement that you have to consider. Have you ever noticed that once a person becomes addicted to a particular behavior, they will go to great length to satisfy that particular thirst or hunger that will have in the system? A perfect example. When someone is actually addicted to alcohol, and on a daily basis they have to drink a certain level of alcohol in the body, once they don't get it, they will do anything within their power to find access to that particular, to a bottle that's going to bring them exactly where they're supposed to be. Same thing with people actually into tobacco or drugs. They will do anything. They will do anything they can possibly do to simply reach the benchmark that they've set internally, because that's now the standard by which they go. And this is also the reason why in the underworld, when it comes to mafias, they will simply go to great length to simply indoctrinate the people to consider a certain behavior as the standard. Anything that doesn't look or sound like this particular behavior is not going to be tolerated. Why? Because they understand, even in their own crooked ways, that yes, once a system, once a set of standards has been established, over time it's going to solidify into a system. And once the system is in place, it's just basically going to be running on automatic, on autopilot. We won't have to do much as far as enforcing certain things, because we'll have simply risen to the point where this is now going to be our state of standards, our system. No matter what, we'll find a way to simply rise to this particular level, because we'll simply say to ourselves, my goodness, no matter what, we have to secure a 20K month, we have to secure a 40K month, we have to secure a 50K month, because that's the best line as far as our organization is concerned. And as far as now your family is concerned, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to simply make sure you set the stage for them. The stage is going to turn to stand up for them, and the stand is simply going to create this process of homeostasis, that no matter what, they will try the very best to get back to the same place, because that will be now the level of excellence, or the benchmark you will actually set for them as far as life is concerned. And now, why is this particularly important for you? Let me just tell you why. In life, everyone that you meet falls under one of these three categories: either an investor, a mentor, or a partner. You don't want to be seen as simply as an investor, someone who came and simply gave some money in order for food to be put on the table for a family. Someone who came and simply put some money on the table so that there could be a roof over the children's head. No, you want to be seen also as a partner, more specific as well as a mentor, someone who came, provided the resources, but went above and beyond, became bigger than money, because became now, oh my goodness, the trigger that caused now the whole system to be manifested, because it will have simply set the stage, it will have simply now set the standards, have created a system, and the system is going to be guiding people in everything that they do. And from that point, my friend, sky is going to be the limit for the people coming after you, and they will always look up to you as the person who came and set the standard for them. And as far as the book of Israel is concerned, you will be simply held in a completely different category. Much love, everyone. I'm out. Every family, every community, as a person who comes and breaks the cycle of financial poverty, that's celebrated. But here's the funny thing. Sometimes that change, that shift is only shortly lived. Why? Because the person will have come and simply broken seemingly the cycle of poverty by injecting some financial resources for people to have a breath of fresh air. Say, now we can breathe. But guess what? By the time these resources are gone, they go back to level zero. Why? Because the person was only focusing on setting the stage for people to have access to financial resources. My prayer and my hope, as far as you are concerned, is that you're going to be the person who not only breaks the cycle of financial poverty in your family and your community, but also goes above and beyond and becomes the person who's going to break the cycle of mental poverty by simply and intentionally setting the stage for the next generation coming after them. Number one. Number two, establishing new standards by which these people are going to be living. Last but not least, creating now a system that's now going to guide them to this standard are simply the best line as far as life is concerned. And from that point, my friend, sky is going to become the limit. You are going to be that person. Much love.